dropped out. And we ain't even got started.
Yeah.
It's going to be a difficult night, isn't it?
Get your finger off of that when you move it.
Okay, I'm leaving it alone.
Yeah, I was fixing to say.
I'm leaving it alone.
Just get your hand off of it. Oh, hello everybody. Danny and Wanda back from Deepsouth Homestead. Oh, seeing people just sitting here. I've been watching people chit-chat.
Got a few from everywhere, looks like.
I have been noticing lots of people from a lot of different places.
Some
Prayers are with you, Raymond. I will say that.
And the people in Florida, because they're looking at a possibly Cat 1, maybe a little more.
It's going to be
hurricane.
more of a rain event, I think, than anything else.
And we got rain today. Unexpected.
We got an
rain.
unexpected flood today. We got 3/4 of an inch in about 20 minutes.
Yeah. I was looking out the window at the pond. I could hear the thunder, and when I looked out the window, looking at the pond, all of a sudden the trees started swaying back and forth and stuff like that. And a few minutes later, I come back to the window, and I mean, it's just pouring down raining.
Well, what made it so bad, we was at 108-degree heat index, and this cloud came up, and within 20 minutes, we was at 70 degrees. And the wind was, the lightning, the thunder, the rain, I mean, it was horrendous there for about 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden, it just went away. But it made the evening, the rest of the evening though was fairly.
It went back up to 86. I think.
It was decent. Now it was by no means was it cool, but it was decent. So you could get outside afterwards.
Oh, Tambra, thank you. Yeah, we've got on two of our new shirts.
Yeah, we've got two of our new shirts here.
This one is, what is it? Garden Like Your Life Depends on It.
Yep.
And it's got Deepsouth at the bottom, and yours says.
You're never too old to play in the dirt.
Yeah, and then. I have one of the tumblers. Where is it?
There you go.
Life is a Garden, Dig It. And it's got Pecan Grove on it.
Yeah, I have the other one that I use with my famous quote, LCE, life-changing event.
And it's got Deepsouth across the bottom.
Yeah.
So, Carrie did a great job, and she got all the gifts out last week for our 20,000 subscriber giveaway. She got all the t-shirts, the tumblers. The only thing she hadn't got out yet is the hat. And I apologize for the hat because she's ordering a bunch of hats of different types or something. And she hadn't got the hat done yet, but it'll be out soon.
And the shirts are made out of some really good material.
Yeah, Gildan is a good t-shirt
As a matter of fact, I was going to wear one today, but we were working outside, and I was like, I just don't want to get it dirty.
No,
I mean,
we don't work in our t-shirts.
I don't work in my shirt because I love my shirts.
And Vago got the bed, the 6-in-1 bed out, and I think she got it. I don't think she sent me a message yet on it, but I think I saw it was delivered yesterday or today. And what else did I see was delivered? I think the composter might have been delivered, but I'm not 100% sure. And we went to town and met.
We met the Scotts.
Scott and Sheila.
Yep.
And gave them the second composter. So we got to spend time. I think I have a picture on my phone. Let me see if I can do that.
We had a picture up on
Patreon.
Patreon, yeah.
They were excited. Sheila was very, very excited. Let me see if I can do this.
See if we can get this up here where they can see it there, where we can actually make it out anyway.
Well, y'all can see
there we go.
Steve and Sheila. They've been with us for quite a while, I think, on Deepsouth Homestead and now on Pecan Grove. And when Danny chose the winner, I told him, I said, I think I know, some reason that name sounded familiar. They did come to Deepsouth, I think twice or 3 times. At least twice. They met us at Deepsouth. All right, and y'all look at this. Let me see if I can get it where I can. We had a subscriber, and I'm not going to say who, sent Danny a pair of shoes, and he was right thrilled. He didn't want to get them dirty either.
I didn't want to wear them and get them dirty either.
She told me not to say who, but anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
He put those on and he goes, hey, these feel pretty good. And he walked around while and he says, but I'm fixing to go out. And it was, a couple of days ago when we got them.
Yeah, it had been wet and nasty that day and all. And I says, I am not wearing these good shoes out there in the wet and nastiness.
Yeah. So.
You want to plug that back up?
Yeah, plug my phone back up. I don't think I got anything I need to show right now. If I do, I'll. So if y'all are interested in any of Carrie's shirts or anything like that, the link is in the description of all our videos. It's rusticcharmfields.etsy.com. And so, okay, we do have Monkey Food and Garden. I don't know if she can put links in here. They lost power for a while today, and it was messing with their internet, and she wasn't sure she would be able to pull links and stuff like that. And Miss Lippy's down to one hand until after she recoups from surgery in a few weeks, and so she can't pull links. And Miss Allison didn't have her new internet hooked up, so I don't think she's here to pull links. So y'all just gonna have to bear with us tonight. And I think I saw Kathy and Mickey from Hill's Mill in here a while ago. Now Kathy might can pull some links, and if Jen can pull them, if she's got where she can pull them, but if not, she's on her phone. She just may be trolling. I guess you would call it, huh?
Yeah.
Miss Lippy's in the background looking, but she can't operate with that hand right now. And Mark's here too. So if we don't have links pulled, y'all just go hunt them. They're in the description.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Wendy said she got the cordless hole puncher t-shirt for her husband, and he loved it.
Nice.
Thank you guys for supporting Carrie and Rusty and us. We thank you for being here. Allison is here. She says she got her phone at least.
Elizabeth Green says, Danny, I received my soil test and my raised beds are high in phosphorus, calcium, iron, and zinc. pH is also high. How do I reduce all that? I may have used too much black cow. I really wouldn't, let's see here. If the pH is also high, depends on what you're calling high, Elizabeth. If you're 7 or lower, you're okay. But now if you're 7.5 to 8, then you're probably a little too high. You might need to put some sulfur in there, and that sulfur will help to neutralize a lot of that stuff. You're not going to hurt much by being high in phosphorus, calcium, iron, and zinc. Those the plants are going to use up pretty quick.
Yeah. Let's see what we're...
Oh man, let's see.
Well, it jumped again.
It jumped on us, yeah.
Let's see. All right, so Miss Lippy had an accident years ago, and she messed up her hand when she fell. And I'm just giving y'all a quick rundown. She's going to do a video this week. And she had to have some pins and stuff put in her hand back several years ago. So if you ever watch her on her videos, sometimes you don't really notice it, but her hand doesn't fully operate. When we were doing the carrots on the carrot video. All right, kind of repeat that again.
Do you prune your grapes in the high tone? No, we do not prune our grapes in the high tone. I let mine just go. They're not hurting anything. Matter of fact, the more vines I get in there, the better off I like it, because that means the more grapes we're going to actually end up with.
All right, if you could have only one tractor, which one would you buy?
The 2501 Kubota. I have had several of the Kubota tractors. I have the 2601 with the air conditioned cab, hydrostat and all that. I do not like a hydrostat. I love the cab and it being air conditioned, but the hydrostat has no power whatsoever to do anything. Plus the grapple system, the lift system on the front of it and all is very flimsy. The 2501 is twice the tractor of the 2601. I can tell you that. The 2501 is beefier, heavier built, just a better all-around tractor than the 2601. I've had a 2401. It's just too little to do anything with.
But now he does a lot with the cab tractor. But
Yes, I
mainly
do.
he has to be very careful. But he does a lot with it because it's too hot or it's too cold, and he does.
Now,
really
I do
glad
like
to
I
have
like the cab tractor. Don't get me wrong. I use it for bush hogging. I take the grapple and I move brush piles and stuff like that with it out there in the hot heat of the day. I save that tractor so when it gets really hot during the day, I can go get on it and I can go out and do my work on the tractors in the heat of the day and don't have to worry about it.
All right, 3B Homestead says this is their first time battling aphids. They watched when we made the yellow plates. Any more advice?
Well, what you can do to aphids in a bigger garden. Well, if you have an aphid attack, first off, you probably have too much nitrogen being used in your garden. You probably should back off of some of the nitrogen being used. Your plants are just too rich in it. That usually brings on aphid infestations. The only other way is, I mean, you could spray spinosad and different things like that, which is classified as organic, and it usually helps a lot. But we don't hardly ever have a bad aphid infestation. Occasionally we'll get them, but when we do, we just mash them by hand and we stay on it every day. Early in the morning. Usually,
if it gets too bad, we take the plants
out.
out.
Yeah, if it just gets too bad, we take the plants out because aphids tend to come in cycles, and that way we try to learn the cycles for our area.
There's Miss Sheila Scott in here, and she's gonna let us know how she likes the composter and what how it works for her. Kevin wants to know: are we having problems with oak trees dying?
Kevin, we're having a problem with the tops dying in some of our oak trees and sweet gum trees and stuff like that, and that's brought on by chemtrailing. The aluminum that they're spraying into the atmosphere raises the pH of the soil unnaturally, and when that happens, oak trees don't need a high pH. Any hardwood trees don't need a high pH. They need a pH of about 5 to 5.5. And when you begin to raise that pH up to 6.8 unnaturally with aluminum, it binds up the phosphorus. We will see how it goes.
Yeah, he told me that they would be bitter and that they might not grow and stuff like that. So we're going to test his theory.
I didn't say they wouldn't grow. I said they'll probably have a bitter taste to them.
We're gonna see.
Carrots grown in heat usually has a bitter taste. When they're grown in the cold, they're usually very sweet.
Yeah. Well, you said we wasn't gonna have extreme cold.
No,
so
one
doesn't
thing.
Matter.
That's the one scary thing. Now, I will tell you all this. I've seen it. I have been. Me. I'm always digging into stuff. I have noticed that a lot of the scientific evidence right now is pointing to the fact that the only really cold places in the United States this year is going to be the very extreme northeast and the extreme northwest, maybe the tops of the Rockies and a couple of the high Appalachian places. But overall, the nation is going to experience a warmer than normal winter as a whole nation, and that's not good with the insect problems we're having.
And not that it's going to be hot.
Not that it's going to be hot, that you're going to be like
6 degrees.
Yeah, between 3 and 6 degrees warmer than normal.
So I mean, if we're used to being 40 to 45, we might be 45 to 50. Just a little bit warmer than normal. Susie, NC, North Carolina, I'm thinking. Said your corn wall is beautiful. I've never seen anyone do that before to dry corn. It's amazing. It is beautiful. Tony, thank you. 34 or 284 band nerds. I'm not sure what that means.
CR2. I don't know what that means. I have no clue.
You have to explain.
You have to explain that. I mean, that's like some kind of cryptic speaking there. I don't know.
34 or 284. I don't know. Okay, don't make sense to me. All right. Sometimes we get stuff, sometimes we don't.
Yeah. Gene says they're predicting record cold, heavy snow for the Michigan this winter. They may be, but I'm telling you, a lot of the information I'm seeing. I'm not saying you won't have it. Now, don't. I'm not saying. Don't get me wrong. There's still going to be snow and cold and everything. It's just that they're saying nationwide as a whole nation, with the exception of the extreme northeast and northwest and the Colorado peaks and stuff, we're going to just be a little bit warmer than normal.
Renee wants to know how the pineapple plants are doing. I checked them one day this week, a couple of 3 days ago, watered them and everything. I have a pineapple about yay big and about that big around, and it's not turned yet. Danny, I got to check it again tomorrow to make sure. And then I had a little bitty one started, so we're having a little bit, not as much as usual, but we're having some pineapples.
Yeah.
Laura said, I'm terrible at growing onions. Tried to ask the tricks from you and Hollis. What are the changes I can try to grow short day onions? Chances.
I can try to grow short day onions here in New York before the end of the summer. Laura's probably, you're in a long day area. Onions take 90 to 100, 120 days to mature. You don't really have time, to be honest with you. You just need to get you some long day varieties. And most people fail at onions because they don't put enough nitrogen and they don't put enough water. Onions are very, very heavy feeders of nitrogen. Now, if you're using organic nitrogen, you're probably not going to have very big onions. You're going to have to go with something that is a guaranteed analysis, like calcium nitrate or 3200. You're going to have to get something that's really heavy to put on them.
How do you feel about water bath canning meat? I'm seeing it a lot, and they are canning it for 3 hours minimum.
Tim, I have heard of people doing that. I would not do it personally because I don't care how many hours you run something. Water bathing is only going to do 212 degrees, and meat requires a lot higher temperature than that. So I would not do it. I'm just telling you, I would not do it.
There's a lot of things that you see, and I'm not going to say it's wrong because my grandmother may have done it. I don't know. But I don't think my grandmother ever canned meat. I think mostly she canned vegetables is all I can remember. I didn't know people canned meat. And you can ask Danny, when we first started canning, somebody had given us some meat, and I threw it away. I wouldn't even eat it. I told him no, no, no. And probably for 4 or 5 years, I didn't can meat. Right. It was a long time. I had to get up the nerve, and then I pressure can it. If I put it in quarts, 90 minutes, and at 10 pounds of pressure, and if I've been doing some now in pints and 75 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure. I'd rather be safe than sorry. I mean, you can play around with your life if you want to. That's up to you. But for me, I'm going to try and pressure can anything I can that needs to be pressure canned. I'd rather be safe.
Let's see. A lot of people say that the Amish use nothing but water bath canning.
They do.
And I'm not saying it won't work. I'm just saying I have never.
If I went and visited them and they showed me what they were doing,
if they showed me their technique,
I would try it.
And they could prove to me that 4 years down the road that canned good would still be good, then I would do it. Yeah. But I can't until I know. I just.
And a lot of people did, you know, their grandparents did do that. And that's what I'm saying. I don't have a grandparent to ask how they did it. And yeah, okay, you can take and put it in there. Was there something special? Because this is something we run into all the time.
I can say this without a doubt. My wife that passed away, her sister, water bath canned everything. Mm-hmm. But with her water bath canning, she added vinegar in with her water bath canning. No matter what she was canning, whether it was green beans or whatever,
in the jar.
She put vinegar in with the jar when she water bath canned it, and she would do it for like 2 and 3 hours, like y'all were saying. Never had anything go bad. I ate a lot of her food whenever I was up there in central Mississippi. But I think it was the raising the acidity level of it that made it safe.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If my grandmother or an older person that has done it all their life is one thing, because just like when Mr. Charles from Old Alabama Gardener, I'd never canned okra before. And Mr. Charles got on the phone with me and walked me through canning okra. And I said, so you don't water bath it? You don't pressure can it? And he said, no. And he told me, and I have videos on Crazy Days and on Deep South, how he showed me how to can okra. I would never have tried okra except I talked to him personally. He walked me through it, gave me his recipe. His mother gave him the recipe, I believe. And he has videos on his channel. Even though he's passed away, I think his channel's still up. And that's what I'm saying. If somebody can confirm it for me, I might would do it. But I'm not going to just try it because some young person on YouTube is doing it.
Oh, there's Joey in here. Okay, so I can see water bath on fruits and vegetables, but I would be scared of meat. I'm scared. I wouldn't do it on meat. I don't care what anybody really says.
I was very leery of the meat until I guess I just had to get my nerve up to pressure can some, and I've done ground beef, both raw and cooked. I've done both, browned it and then put broth in it. I like the browned with broth better than putting it in raw. I've done pork, deer, chicken, turkey. Anything else? I think I've done most all of those in meat. And right now I'm working on beef. So I have good luck with it.
Okay, here we go.
I have to have 10 pounds of pressure, but if you're used to 15, you do 15.
Yeah, we're a little over 300 feet here. We do 10 pounds, but if you're over 1,000 feet, you have to do 15.
Yeah, the canned lard, the sausage and stuff, especially pork, the fat will come to the top and seal over. That preserves it too.
Yeah.
That's one good thing about having that in your meat when you pressure it.
Okay, let's see here. Where am I at?
Okay. Here. Yeah, Steve said that Mr. Old Alabama Gardener's still up. I thought it was because I had seen some of his videos in the past recently.
I've had one pop up in my recommended occasionally. Yeah.
And he had a lot of good knowledge. He was an older man that had learned from older people.
Yeah.
And he was applying that knowledge and teaching. What did folks do before pressure canner? They did water bath, and my dad
people before pressure canning preserved the meat with salt.
Yes, that's true.
They salted their meat and they hung it, and I mean that's just the way it was done.
And I know, but my dad did like vegetables. He did some green beans, and it went like 3 hours or something just on green beans. So I mean, 3 hours with meat. I'm like, I don't think it would. I'd be leery.
How many cans do you can for the two of you for a year?
Gosh.
Oh my gosh, we can. Oh. Well, let's put it this way. Let's break it down. I ain't gonna sit here.
Hit the
I'm sorry. I'm so used to hitting stuff, guys. That's just who I am.
He likes to bang.
I bang everything. I hit everything. Let's just do it this way. The easiest way I know how to tell you is when we do our green beans, we try to do a jar or 2 jars. A week per month for 12 months. If we do carrots, we try to do the same thing. So just 2 times 52 times however many vegetables you normally eat. Yeah. I mean, that's the easiest way I know how to.
And then some things like
we're doing like
pears. I'm doing double because we may not have pears next year with the move and everything going on. I'm canning all the pears that I can because this may be my last year to have that pear tree. And until our new pear trees get up and producing, I need pears. Figs is the same way.
Figs was the same way.
I canned every fig I could because we may lose our big tree moving and we have fig trees, but they're not producing a lot yet. So things that and blueberries, gosh, I canned a bunch of blueberries, and we don't eat a lot of canned blueberries. Danny likes them more fresh, so we put those in the freezer. Green beans, I usually try to make at least two for a week, but we sometimes we'll do 3 or 4 according to the yield, and that gives us some for the next year. Peas, I did a lot of peas. When we had peas, I did a lot, so I've had peas for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, we're still eating stuff from 4 and 5 years ago, so I mean, we don't, now guys, I have learned something. We've been around a lot of different people in years that we've been together, and I watch people eat. Some people, I don't know how they hold what they eat. I'm being honest with you. Me and Wanda don't eat a lot.
Not compared
to most people. Most people can eat like 2 and 3 hamburgers, maybe a few potatoes,
I cook
a little bit of rice. And I say a little rice, I mean like a little cup of rice. I mean, we don't just round our plates up with food. We try not to be gluttonous, you know, I mean, when we eat.
But I grew up, my mom made a meat, sometimes cornbread, or we had light bread or a biscuit, whatever she made. But we had a meat and 2 to 3 sides, because there was 4 kids and 2, there was 6 of us. I had to stop and think, okay, there was 6 of us in the family. And so by making the sides, like if you make a side out of a box, like macaroni and cheese, that's not a lot for 6 people. And she only did 1 box, so you got a couple little spoons each. That's it. If she made mashed potatoes, it was the same thing. She made a certain amount. Everybody got a couple of spoons. You didn't eat a big bowl of mashed potatoes. If she did salad, you got a small bowl of salad. You didn't eat a serving bowl of salad. And you didn't,
look, when you was a kid running around the house, you didn't stay in the refrigerator. Or the cabinet eating snacks all day and all this kind of stuff. You got your butt tore up, and you got in trouble.
My mama gave us 2 cookies in the afternoon as a snack, and my kids, as they were coming up, I'd give them 2 cookies. And they'll tell you today, they'll laugh. They says, Mom, you only gave us 2 cookies. And I'm like, you buy a pack of cookies back then, and it wasn't that expensive, but to me it was, because I was limited in what I had to spend, and I had 5 kids. So time you gave each one of them 2 cookies, you just went through 10 cookies out of a pack, and these packs are shrinking down more and more now. If you have several kids and you give them 10 cookies apiece, my goodness, you'd have to.
My mama told us, said, get out when the sun come up and it was summertime. Get out the house, and you didn't come back in the house unless you had to go to the bathroom or something. You know, if you was a boy, you went to the bathroom outside. Yeah. So she'd call us. She said, I'll call you when it's time to eat. And we drank out of a water hose. And you know what? I didn't die. I didn't die.
I'm like Beth. I make enough for 2 days for the 2 of us. I do that a lot. I cook enough. Like if I do rice, I do enough rice that we have rice for 3 or 4 meals.
Yeah.
I put it in the fridge, and then I heat it up for 3 or 4 meals. I do that with beans, cornbread. Some meats I do that. If I have a ground beef and I make several hamburgers, I stick the extras up. We eat 1 apiece, and we have 1 for the next day. I mean, I don't have to cook that much, and we eat leftovers. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't know.
Peanut butter and crackers, yep, and a jug of water.
Yep. Nadia says, Danny, when can I prune my cherry tree here in southern Florida? Well, if you're in southern Florida, I doubt you have a real cherry tree. You probably have one of those that's the tropical cherry, which is technically not really a cherry tree. And I never did. I had one, and I never did prune it. It done fine on its own. And I don't hardly ever prune trees. I've actually learned that the Extension's way of showing how to prune pear trees and apple trees and all really don't work. Okay,
Yeah, they're all saying they came on when the street lights come on. We didn't have street lights.
no, we lived in the country. When it got dark, it was dark.
I mean, I was out in
we
the
waited
country,
for a horn to blow.
But I was on Park Avenue, but I was on the country extension of Park Avenue. I wasn't downtown. And I don't remember us having street lights. You didn't get street lights till you got into the town part, because I thought that was so odd where I lived. And yeah, if we went to a cousin's house, Mom blew the horn and for us to come running when she got ready to go.
Okay, yeah, the Barbados cherry is not really a cherry tree. That is.
Yeah, we had that.
That's actually a tropical fruit. That's not really. It's not a real cherry. It actually has like 6 compartments to it of different seeds in it. So I mean, it's not really a cherry tree.
Yeah, your mama could walk outside and yell too, and
Yep.
you better be listening. Just saying. You
Yep.
better be paying attention.
You better be paying attention.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Fly swatter.
Oh.
Oh, my
You
granny
don't-
was bad about
you
that.
don't know about them fly swatters now.
My granny was good with the fly swatter.
Yeah, stop and think about it for a minute, guys. Let's just stop and think about it for a minute. Wasn't life really good back then? I mean, it was just so much better
Everybody
than it is
had
now.
respect.
I mean, kids could go out and play. They could go down the street. You didn't have to worry about them. If they went to some neighbor's house, the neighbor had the right to tear your butt up just like your mom and daddy did, and nobody said nothing. You know, I mean, if you got home and your mom and daddy found out the neighbor whipped you, you got whooped again. You know, I mean, that was just
A
the way.
plum switch. My
Plum
mama
switch
used a plum switch
or bridal-
that I had to go get.
The bridal wreath, the plum switch, the peach limbs.
You know, and when we were kids, we thought that was the worst thing in the world to have to go outside, get a plum switch, come back in, and then get a spanking with a plum switch. It'd sting your legs, and it'd make you think
Make
before
you
you
have
done it
little,
again.
you have them little whips across your leg, look
Little
like
streaks
across your legs.
But
you know?
they went away before the next day, probably before you even took a bath that night. They were gone. It
Yeah.
just sting, but it got your attention. Nowadays, these kids don't know what that is. They disrespect their parents, their grandparents, their teachers, policemen. It don't matter, priests, preachers, whoever.
Yep.
They disrespect everybody. They don't have manners. Now, we have some that do. There's some that do have. I can't say all kids, because there's kids out there that are good. Their parents teach them manners. But boy,
They ain't no
them
kid. Let me
switches-
put it this way: they ain't no kid that ain't never that needed his butt tore up.
Every kid needs.
Every kid
I don't
needs his
care
butt
how
tore
good
up.
your kid is. At some point, they need their butt tore up. And
Yep.
yeah, we were not abused. Hey, Alabama, we were not.
We were not abused. I mean, look, we ain't gonna go there.
Yeah. Now, some parents would take it a little too far, and I get that. There were some that did do that, but
Somebody wanted to know how you get rid of honey locust trees. You
Ugh.
know, the locust tree. You just don't. I mean, them things are invasive. I don't know how.
like the tongue nuts.
They're like the cotton picking tongue nuts. I mean, them things. A lot of people go, "Oh, they're great because they're nitrogen fixers in the soil." I don't care I hate a mimosa tree. Them things are great nitrogen fixers, but them things come up everywhere, and you're constantly pulling them up. You know, I mean, it's just if it left up to me, I'd never be a mimosa tree around in the world, or a black locust, or a popcorn tree, or anything else.
Is there any ideas on how to reduce the effects of aluminum in the soil?
Liquid phosphorus. That's the reason you see us using Dr. Earth's
Dr. Earth's Golden Bloom.
Okay, I'm trying to get this right. Dr. Earth's Golden Bloom. I always say it backwards. Liquid phosphorus. Because if you put any phosphorus in the soil any other way, the plants have a really hard time taking it up unless you have a high tunnel or something where the aluminum's not getting in the soil. It's very difficult.
And Lisa makes my point. When we were young, going after those switches, that was the most terror and torment you could do.
That was worse
to
than
us.
getting whooped.
Yeah, going and breaking that switch off, and and Mama tell you don't get them little thin
Yeah,
ones.
you better
gotta
bring
get
a
long
good one. Yeah, you better bring a good one.
And so she makes my point. I had to go get a switch growing up. Those were the good old days. Now we look back and we go, those were the good old days. But when you were young, you were in terror or torment of having to tote that switch into your mama. And my uncles always said, my mom was one of 10, and one of my uncles, he was like third or fourth up from the youngest, stayed in trouble all the time. And so the running joke with all my mama's brothers and sisters is Sylvester always was getting a switching. That Granny was always switching Uncle Sylvester, and he would tell him, Mama loved me more than she did y'all, because she was always saying, I'm doing this because I love you. So he claimed he got loved more than anybody else in the family. All right, do you leave the copper wires in the garden through winter?
No, if I don't have anything growing in there, I take them out. But to be honest with you, we take them out and store them.
And we got some new stuff this week.
We did get some new things this week. I was going to show them, but I took them out to put them in the building because you wanted them out of the house. Miss Wanda's so picky about things being left in the house, and so I take stuff and put it out in the shed, and it's in the shed.
But Hills Mills sent us copper rods for an orchard.
For an orchard.
Yes.
Yes, they have the new rods out for the orchard. I'll be showing them in a video in the future, because we're going to be getting our fruit orchards ready here because we're getting closer to fall, and I'll be putting in my fruit trees and stuff like that in my orchard, and I will show them being used at that point. But I would suggest going over to Hills Mills Homestead if you have a fruit orchard and checking out their new coils for the fruit orchards.
Yes. Lou said, one time I made the mistake of getting a puny switch. It only happened once.
Yeah.
All right, Lindy say, I think that's how it is. Please help. I need to eradicate knotweed around the house. Any way to get rid of it without chemicals?
We don't have knotweed here, so I can't honestly give you an honest answer on that. I don't want to tell you something and it not be right. So because we don't have it here, so I don't really know. Do you use Haas 20-20-20 fertilizer on vegetables throughout or recommendations on
Thoughts.
it? Thoughts or recommendations on it. Yes, I use Haas 20-20 fertilizer on our vegetables. I love it. It really gives the plants a boost, and it seems to work out really good. Now, when we're doing our raised beds, I mean, we just or have we put the video out, or have we not? No, we haven't put the video out.
No, not yet. It'll be next week.
I showed making my
we did put the video of you making the homemade
time release fertilizer.
Yeah,
I showed using the 20-20-20 making my homemade time release fertilizer. I do show
That's on Pecan Grove.
Next week we will show you how we use the time release fertilizer in the new beds we got.
Okay. How do I plant garlic to be successful? That is Ingrid.
Ingrid, to plant garlic to be successful, you need to do it in the late fall or early spring. Just make sure you keep plenty of nitrogen and plenty of water. It's just like an onion. You got to have the nitrogen and you got to have the water for the bulbs to become really nice bulbs on it. And make sure you plant the right variety for your area. If you live in the South, if you're trying to do all these hard-neck garlics and stuff like that, you probably are not going to be very successful with them in the South.
Okay, so
you need elephant garlic in the South.
3B Homestead said, do you have to add water to the bag when you're air layering?
You need the soil to be moist. You need to wet the soil before you air layer, yes.
Where did you find fruit trees to plant?
Believe it or not, the co-ops around here are feed stores. They're not co-ops, they're just feed stores. Co-ops have been done away with. Still have some citrus trees for sale, and now not any other types of trees, mainly just citrus because they overbought and then they didn't sell. And that's the main thing we're picking up right now is citrus trees. Any fruit trees, I'm digging up my own that come up from seeds.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's answer that one. Rocks says, do baby chicks need a heat source in 90 degrees? They don't have a mama. No, they don't need a heat source in 90 degrees.
Ours did good.
Look, ours in 30-degree weather, I didn't put a heat source in there on them, and they done fine.
Because it was warming up during the day.
The day would get up to like 65.
And Danny got 2 eggs this week from them.
I did. I got 2 eggs, and they ain't no bigger. They ain't no bigger than a golf ball, or smaller than a golf ball.
So they're fixing to be laying.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting. And we did not lose any of them.
Didn't lose a one.
Still got more.
Everybody kept telling me, if you don't put a heat lamp on them baby chicks, they're going to die. I said, nope, they'll feather out faster if they don't have a light on them.
And they were already getting to be good-sized little chicks. They weren't a day or 2 old. These were already, what, 5 or 6 days old or more?
About a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're about a week old.
Because they had them a few days when we got them. My fig I air layered is doing fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, Stacy. It really
good root system going. All right.
We're going to show ours this week too.
Hopefully mine. I know my apple tree is doing pretty good. I hadn't even I'm just being honest. I haven't really checked on them that much. I figure, why build my hopes up? Let's just let them sit. They're not going to hurt anything. So let me just leave them alone.
Yeah. Several people say they are planting some citrus from seeds and have had luck growing. My crooked little homestead said they have 3-foot tangerine trees they grew from seeds. Danny's working on peaches.
I'm working on peaches right now.
He wants a peach orchard.
I love peach trees. I like figs. I like peaches. I like pears.
Yeah.
I like all of it, to be honest. Well, I eat blueberries just about every morning.
There's still blueberries on one of those trees.
I know.
I ate some today.
We still have blueberries. I have never in my life had blueberries on my trees in August.
No.
Never, ever.
And it's the little ones. They're small, but they've got a really good taste.
Yep.
They're about half the size of those rabbit eyes.
Yeah, Nadia says, can I use elephant garlic from the grocery stores? Yeah, you can use it. Now, be aware it may have a growth retardant sprayed on it. It may take you a little while to overcome that, but you can do it.
Pamela wants to know what's a good ground cover to plant around blueberries.
We plant red clover around our blueberries. It seems to do really good about providing nitrogen for them and stuff like that.
Let's see. Do you think they will patent heirloom seeds? I don't know if they can patent heirlooms.
I don't know if they'll patent an heirloom seed or not.
I
know they will probably try to do away with them.
Yeah.
More than anything else.
They won't, but they have. If you go back and look at seed varieties from, say, even 50 years ago, but if you go back 100 years, they probably have a list somewhere. But I know even 50 years ago, the amount of heirloom seeds, the varieties were phenomenal. They have gradually shrunk it down where and what really made me think about it is when you look at seed companies, all the seed companies have the same name pretty much for, like, if it's yellow wax beans, every seed company has yellow wax beans. You know, pretty much the same. Or lima beans.
Let's just break it down like this. Look at the heirloom section in the seed catalogs, and it's very small compared to the hybrids and
and then now they're going to start with the GMOs if you don't watch.
Yeah,
you gotta pay attention.
Hold on, move. Chris B says, how do you keep your rabbits cool with the hot temperatures? We're raising the Tamuk rabbits from Texas A&M, and they withstand the heat very well. I have my rabbits are in an open barn. I don't really worry about it. They don't seem to have any problems. Just keep plenty of water. That's the main thing. Keep them with plenty of water.
All right, Darlene wants to know what we're planting for our fall garden. We're waiting a little bit, and I'm planting something in some raised beds. We haven't cleared out the high tunnel yet because we're still, the eggplants are still doing. We've got sweet potatoes.
We hadn't looked at the high tunnel since the weather this afternoon, I'm just going to tell you.
No, we really hadn't in the wind.
Well, I have from a distance. I didn't go in there.
I think it probably got the peppers.
There's a lot of it looks a little rough.
I think it probably broke our peppers, to be honest. And if it did, we may not have many peppers. We were.
I mean, they were loading up too.
Yeah.
They were loading up.
Well, I knew yesterday when I was tying some of them up, I said, if I don't tie these up, the wind's going to catch them.
Yeah, we had a lot of wind.
But we were gradually taking things out of the high tunnel. The watermelons will come out soon. Probably the cantaloupe's coming out.
Yeah, the cantaloupe's probably out this week.
So that'll give us 2 more of the raised beds cleared. We're going to do a video soon, but we're not starting anything for fall until the end of August, 1st of September maybe. So as we clear them out, they'll probably stay vacant for a month or so. Danny may amend them and let them just sit.
Yeah.
But that's one of our goals, is to clear up things. And the raised beds down there, we've taken all the tomatoes out.
Yes, we have.
We've gotten all the carrots and the seeds
well, there's a few carrots popping back up.
Yeah, we're leaving the volunteers.
Yeah, the volunteers coming. I'm not messing with them.
I've been getting some lima beans. I have those in the 60-foot raised bed and in a container, and I've eaten out of them about 3 times now. When those finish, they'll come out. We'll be digging sweet potatoes out of my high tunnel probably in the next couple of weeks. We're not in any big hurry, but we tested them. There were good sized sweet potatoes, so we know we've grown some. You tested the ones in the 60-foot raised bed, didn't you?
No, they're below the 60-foot raised.
Below it.
Yeah, below it. In that garden, yes, I did test them in that garden.
And Danny said
they're ready to dig.
They were getting ready, but we're not in a hurry to dig them like this week. So soon.
Tim Paul says, how do you get rid of kudzu? Move. I'm just being honest. It's like Bermuda grass. If you've got kudzu, or just move. You know, I mean, it's no. You can. The only way I know of it, I hate to say it, it's kind of like Kogon grass here on our place. You just got to Roundup it. I mean, I hate using Roundup, but it's the only thing that kills some of that stuff. Now, if you're going to use Roundup, make sure you mix Miracle Grow fertilizer with it, because it will kill it faster with just one application. All
right, Pamela wants to know how to preserve eggplants. I don't.
We don't.
We eat them fresh, and that's it. I don't preserve them. I've not found any way to preserve them that I like.
Oh, there it comes. Okay.
Monica, thank you. She said thank you for
all that you do. Got to go now. Please keep us in your prayers. Husband needs a hip replacement, and now the heart is not so great. I'm going to feed him the best I can. Prayers for the echo on Friday.
Well, we will be
keeping him in our prayers, Monica.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Is chokeweed edible?
I don't know what chokeweed is. We don't have it here. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I know what chokeberries are. And if that's what you're talking about, no, they're not edible. But I don't know what.
I think that might be what they're talking about.
I don't know what chokeweed is.
This week I've been doing a lot of canning. I am steadily canning on the pears. I've got 2 or 3 more days of canning pears and I'll be through. But I'm only doing 1 canner a day because of peeling and cutting and everything. It takes a while. I've been doing some of the beef because I want to put all my
we're trying to put as much stuff in jars as we can, because we just got some uneasy feelings about the future.
Yeah. And I found that my big crock pot, I put my soup bones in there and leave them either overnight or all day overnight, because you want broth and you want the rich broth from the soup bones. The longer you leave it, the darker the broth gets.
Right.
And then I take the meat off and I can the meat and the broth, and that gives us meat in a jar for rice or just for eating or whatever. If you needed some just broth for a cold or something, we have all that. You and Chris finished. I'll show it one day this week, but y'all put a floor on the half of
where I'm working in the shop, we got a floor on.
half.
On the half of the shop that I have up. And I did get the post anchors put in on the other side. On one set of them.
And I got 2 new raised beds and we put dirt in those this week.
Carolyn wants to know, do you use your food freeze dryer anymore? We haven't used it in a while because we're in the transition of moving and building and all this kind of stuff. And in freeze dryers, you got to be right there with them all the time.
I
and we just don't have time. I'm
going to be probably setting it up in the older house that we have and using that, but I don't know yet. We're kind of which way. There's certain things I like to use the freeze dryer for, and there's certain things I don't use it. And so far this year,
yeah, there's a few things that I'd like to talk about, but I know I really can't. And plus, there was another one there right below it I was going to try to catch. Country Humans Network said, what would be the best USDA zone to live in my opinion? Well, it all depends on what your goals are in life. If you want to raise a garden and you want to raise your own food year round, you would need to be in zone 8 or 9 to be able to raise your garden year round. Zone 10 definitely, but zone 10 is the southern tip of Florida. It's the southern part of Florida and the southern part of Texas.
Yeah.
And parts of Arizona out there. But when you get into that, you get into extreme heats, and it makes it very difficult to actually raise anything. Now, 8 is a very comfortable growing zone for lots of things year round.
Just know if you get toward like where we are, toward the coast,
you gotta deal with hurricanes and humidity. You have to deal with a lot of powdery mildew.
But zone 8, maybe a little further inland, might be a little less humid.
No, actually, you're gonna get you're
gonna still be.
You're in humidity even to zone 7. So you're probably, the humidity is not gonna go away. But now some places in zone 7, you can get away from, especially in the higher elevations where the air is
zone
not as
7
humid.
would give you a good. You could grow a good bit.
You could grow a lot of stuff.
Grow year round.
Well, let's put it this way: zone 7 does better with peaches. It does better with apples.
Yeah.
It does better with grapes and a lot of your vining plants, like your string beans and stuff like that.
You notice we're sending you away from Mississippi.
Yeah, don't come to Mississippi. Don't come to South. Don't come to South Mississippi.
All right, Blue Wolf wants to know: can you explain what you mean by mixing the Miracle-Gro with the Roundup?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I explained that to a gentleman today, and actually, a couple of days ago, I explained it to somebody. What happens when you mix Miracle-Gro with Roundup, and you do it at the right time when the plants are beginning to put their new growth on, they see the Roundup as a fertilizer. I mean, the Miracle-Gro as a fertilizer. Well, the plant will immediately. The original owner had just been mowing it. He just thought it was grass, and I told him, I said, no, it's Kogon. Do not mow it anymore. And I waited till the right time, and we mixed the Miracle-Gro in with the Roundup. First application almost completely wiped it out. We had just a couple of little sprigs that came up, and I think it was because when it was sprayed, it was mist. And the second application completely wiped it out. We don't even have any there anymore.
ABC said they actually saw a bunch of sumac today that was already turning red and orange so early.
We have some that's turning pinkish colored.
Yeah, my ginkgo is turning yellow.
Her ginkgo is already turning yellow.
And it's not quite fall yet. We've got another month before it should be turning yellow. So I noticed the ginkgo this week was turning yellow. So I do believe we've got an early fall, it looks like. Or well, it's going to just be hot. We're fixing to hit our hot spell.
Rio Star says those fruit trees have to be grafted. I don't know what fruit trees you're talking about because I've planted seedlings my whole life and none of mine's ever been grafted. And they grow just fine and they produce fruit just fine. So they don't have to be grafted.
All right, let's see where we're at. The yearly cicadas started singing 2 weeks ago here. I think we have them all year long.
Well, it depends on where you're at. Illinois has had them really early this year. We've had ours really early this year. There's some certain zones that they're coming out in full force. As a matter of fact, several different groups of them are coming out at the same time. It's the first time in like 200 years this has happened.
All right, Jeanette says, I planted my sweet potato slips at the beginning of July. All of the rain has flooded them, and some of the leaves are turning yellow. Any chance of harvesting? This is my first year planting them.
If you've got 120 days from the time you planted them, and they make it that long, and they grow in pretty good, you stand a chance of harvesting them. I don't know where you live at to get them in July, but you have to be way up north, as I'm thinking. Because July, they should already be almost ready to dig.
All right, Danny, my maple trees are already turning from the few cold nights they had in July. Now, my crooked
now
little
that's up in
homestead's
Canada.
Yeah.
No whining says equator is moving. Danny with a question mark. Yes, the equator is moving. I'm not going to go into a lot of that because I don't want to get my channel in trouble here. But yes, the answer is yes, it is moving.
Let's see. Linda said that her husband planted an orange seed years ago and it made big orange tree. We've planted things from seeds and Danny has throughout the years and had good luck with most of it.
We actually have a tangerine tree, or a tangelo, probably a satsuma tree to be honest. Over here at Deepsouth Homestead, my wife that passed away used to throw the seeds off the back deck, and the tree came up and it sit there for 6 or 7 years maybe or longer and didn't do anything. And then one day me and Wanda walked out there and it had satsumas hanging in the top of it. And them things were just as good as...
And the tree took off. It stayed little for so long, and then all of a sudden one year it just shot up. We didn't fertilize it. We didn't do anything because Danny was really going to pull it up.
I was going to pull it up because it never had anything on it.
The next year it shot up and it was taller than the house. And he goes, wow. Well, he still didn't pull it up. And that year it had, I think it was only 2.
It had 2 on it that year, yeah.
And then the next year it had 2 or 3. It's never bore a lot yet, but it has borne
it always,
some.
But they're good. You know, they're good satsumas.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
All right, so we are at 9 o'clock. So.
Oh, we are. I didn't realize we was that late along. 13 days over 100 degrees in Ohio already. Exhausting and unbearable. Rex, come on. Rocks, I'm sorry. We have over 100 days down here in a row over 100 degrees.
Yeah.
With very high humidity. I mean, that's just normal for us.
Our heat index stays over 100 probably for nearly 3 months, if not longer.
3 to 4 months at a time. Our heat index every day goes over 100 degrees.
And then on top of that, the humidity is so high. The last few days, off and on, the humidity is just like you just sweat. I don't even think it's sweat. I think when we walk outside, there's so much moisture in the air that it's just running down our face.
Pamela B said, can you can pears with the skin on? Thank you. No, I would not do that. I wouldn't do it.
Miss D is in our chat.
She was there a while ago, yeah.
I didn't see her earlier. I might get to kind of visit with Miss D this week. I'm hoping so.
Maybe so.
We're going to have us a good visit. And people are starting to put their chats up. Miss Lippy is going to be having her hand surgery, I think the end of this week. I can't remember what day, but anyway, soon. She's going to do a video explaining that to y'all.
Gracedale Farm says, please pray for us. We're heading across the pond this week. Bless your hearts, I'm going to tell you.
Ooh.
My feet's on American soil. Ain't nothing making me leave this country unless Uncle Sam comes and gets me and takes me back somewhere. But I am not leaving this soil. This is home for me. I can't think of nothing that would make me.
Can't even put him in an airplane or nothing else.
Well,
He's
no, I mean,
on the ground.
They have grounded me. They've told me no more planes. I can't get back in a plane no more. Nothing. So.
Not that you'd really want to, huh?
Not that I'd want to these days, but.
Danny's kind of stuck.
I'm kind of stuck where I'm at. I can't go nowhere. I have to be a hermit now.
Yeah.
Pamela, you're welcome for answering the questions. And guys, thank you for putting up your prayer requests. That is always.
We do have a lot of people with a lot of different issues, different things going on in their lives. Mr. Buddy, I think somebody asked earlier. Now he did have C19. He's recouped. He's up and around, going good. So he's ready to crack the whip on Miss Lippy now.
Yeah, Mr. Buddy's kind of getting over, you know. They don't know if I said you could take a ship across the. No, I ain't getting. Look, I've spent enough time out on that ocean. I don't ever want to go back out there again either.
All right, we need to pray for our country and for other countries.
We need to pray for God's. We need to pray for God's people in this country.
Countries, because if they start pulling names,
well, let me put it this way.
There's agendas that take things because of names and things that are said.
There is a country under attack right now as we're speaking.
And we need.
It went under attack about 2 hours ago, and it's not looking good for everybody over there. So that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah, because we don't ever know when things are gonna, start getting pulled because of certain words, and we don't want to say those words.
Let me put it to you this way: the United States is on high alert right now. Just so you know, it ain't just across the pond. We ourselves have been put on high alert because our enemy, which is their enemy, has said we have to go down with them. So please understand that.
Yeah, y'all just need to keep the whole world in prayer. The elections, I guess that's all we're going to say about that. That gets to be on everybody's mind. The weather, the hurricane, or possible hurricane. I don't know if it's even made a hurricane yet. But at least rain coming in, a heavy rainstorm, if not a Cat 1 hurricane into Florida. Looks like the whole of Florida's taking the brunt of it. Doesn't mean other states might not get some, but as it heads in, seems like Florida gets the rain all the way throughout.
Yeah. Okay. The Country Humans Network says, it's interesting, no news about this 2 hours ago. No, the mainstream media is not covering this. But I will assure you, this is the honest to goodness truth. It is happening as we're sitting here talking right now. I've got connections that, look, it's happening. You definitely... You
may have to look other places.
You're going to have to look for other places. I'm not going to tell you...
Now, they will start, and there'll be a twist on it by tomorrow.
Yeah, please understand, if you're getting your news off of the television, it's not accurate and it's not the truth.
Well, it could be partial.
Partial truth is still a lie. Because the gatekeepers have already censored everything going across the boob tube or whatever you want to call it, and you're not going to get the truth. You're going to get propaganda. So yeah. I'm sorry if that's the only place you get your news from. You need to hunt a more reliable news source.
Yeah, some people are saying BP Earthwatch, so yeah.
Jesse, so Jesse put something up?
Yeah.
Okay,
so
I haven't seen the internet. I don't know.
He's pretty good to keep up with things. If you the real BP Earthwatch, I guess. I think he got his channel taken a few years ago, and he had to start over. So he's got the real BP Earthwatch, I think, on it now.
Yeah, I don't get a chance to watch the internet too much, but
yeah, it's out there if you know where to look, guys.
Yeah, it's out there, I promise you.
Let's say our prayer and...
Okay. Father, we thank you so much for being so good to us tonight. You gave us a good chat. Thank you for that. I pray that, Father, I pray you bless us so that we can reach out and be a blessing to those that are around us here. And thank you so much for the ones that have had some prayer requests, that's had some praise items. This week we've heard several praise items, and we're thankful for those. And tonight, there's been a lot of requests going out tonight. I saw the lady who said that something almost went through her windshield, or the gentleman, whichever one it was, and they were thankful that nothing happened to them. And then lots of them having tests run, lots of people dealing with cancer. Lord, you know where my heart's at with that. I spent 6 years dealing with all that, and Father, my heart goes out for anybody who's having to go through this wrongful thing that's been put on our people here in this country. There is a cure, and they will not allow it to be used, and that just makes my blood boil. But there's nothing I can do about it. I can pray and ask you to do it, Father, because you are the great physician. I'm asking you to heal these people, Father, so that your children can reap in the glories of this world, Father, and enjoy the time that they have here. I hate it because it leaves children fatherless and motherless, and spouses are left widows and widowers, Lord, and things like this because of these diseases, and it angers me that our country has been so hateful toward you, that these things have come upon us now. I want to pray for the countries that's under attack across the water over yonder. I want to pray for our nation, because it doesn't mean we're out of the water, because we're part of this, and it's very likely that we also could get struck in many different ways that we don't expect. So I'm praying that your guiding hand would be over this nation and watch over your people, Father, inside this nation. And I do pray for the upcoming elections. There's some very startling things that's going to come out here in the next few weeks that people are probably going to be shocked when they find out about them. And Father, that really unnerves me also. But I also know that when I read the big picture, I know that it's in your plan. So please help us to not get too caught up in the things that are going on around us and forget who truly runs the whole show, Father, which is you. So we love you, we appreciate you, and we pray for everyone in the chat tonight. And Father, even the prayers that were not even mentioned that people had on their hearts, but yet they just didn't mention them, I'm going to pray for those prayers also. So I ask these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Okay, so
let's see here.
they're gonna ask for your tip, I guess, but I'm thinking, everybody needs to be prepared for whatever happens and not be shocked. I guess the one thing is people get angry and upset when they're shocked that something happens.
Yeah.
I guess expect the unexpected might be a better way to put things.
Yeah. It's kind of difficult sometimes to when people want a tip, to use the word tip. Sometimes advice might be better than tip in certain situations. Guys, we are under extreme high alert in this country right now. There's some things that's going to happen here very shortly, I imagine, that could change our way of life as we know it. One thing, fuel may very well go up very quickly here in the very near future because of what's going on across the water over there. And that will affect people's pocketbooks more than anything else.
Oh, I know one thing. I did hear that we should back everything on your phones up.
Yes.
Your pictures, your contacts, things like that, just in case, because we've had so many threats to our internet system, especially phones, computers, things like that. Back your pictures up on something tangible instead of allowing them to be in a cloud somewhere, because that could be touched. Let's just say.
Oh, I see. Rio Star, I see what he says. Citrus trees need to be grafted. It takes 7 to 10 years. Yes, that is correct. I will admit that is correct. Yes, if you want your citrus trees to bear quicker than 7 to 10 years, you do need to graft them. I see what he was saying now. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Totally agree. I don't know. I want to say things, but also, know that sometimes I'm told to keep my mouth shut. But don't get so caught up. Let's put it this way. MSM is throwing 2 events out there for everybody to watch. And the presidential elections is one of them, and what's going on across the water is the other one.
Not the
And that's not the real story.
The Olympics. You're talking about not the fighting.
No, not the fighting. The Olympics. Yeah. I'm sorry. I forget.
You gotta
because
watch.
the fighting just started a couple hours
ago. They're
not covering it. So the Olympics and the presidential election are the two things that's mainly on the internet right now. And that is not what's really going on behind the scenes. What's going on behind the scenes right now has to do with your banking.
It's financial.
It's all financial. While they have our attention focused on the Olympics and the elections, they're actually changing the financial system behind the scenes. And probably by December of this year, maybe, those changes could be implemented here in the United States. They're already in place. Now, don't get me wrong. They're already in place. Mm-hmm. They're just sitting there waiting on somebody to pull the plug. But they don't want to cause turmoil right now before the elections. So I'm going to probably say they're going to wait till after December, after the first of the year, to actually pull the plug on this. And when they do, our way of life as we know it financially will change. Now, there are some people that won't change that much because all they know how to do is swipe a card. You know, they never actually hold a dollar bill in their hand anymore. And for those people, probably won't change a lot other than the simple fact that they will have total control over your finances then, and you won't have any control over it. Then's when the carbon credit stuff is all going to come into effect. So please be aware of that. But that's not really a tip. It's more of some advice. I'm just telling you. Manage your finances right now really quick the best way you can, because in about 6 months, you're probably not going to have the opportunity to make changes.
See, Miss Janet said on the last update, all of her photos and recipes were lost. They just disappeared. Yeah, you have to be very careful because you can get these viruses in your computer, in your phone and stuff now. I don't care how well you have things backed up. I buy hard drives and put them on that, and they are not connected to it. My hard drives are not connected to my computer or anything. They're in a desk drawer. That way I do have them as a backup.
Okay, people are asking, will we still be able to use cash? No, cash is going away. We're going into a cashless society. Everything will be numbers on ledgers, and
it might take them a little while to
It'll
get
take
people
them,
to
It'll take
comply.
a little while to get people to comply. I'm just going to give you what I was told will be a probable scenario. Will be that you'll be given a certain amount of time to turn in any cash that you have to get a comparable number on a ledger that equals that value. And if you don't turn it in within that amount of time, then you will lose it. It'll be useless. Then it'll just be like a souvenir, after that. So, and I'm not telling you to go cash in anything. I'm just telling you to have your eyes peeled in the direction toward the finances rather than the presidential election and what's going on in the Olympics, because they're bombarding the internet with that while they're doing this behind our back. I have information that they're doing it behind our back, which is what they've always done throughout history.
And if you really pay attention, though, they're not doing it behind your back. They're putting it in their newspapers, and it's out there. If you know where to look, probably not top. It's in the third, fourth page section down in finance or something that nobody reads except financial experts. It's out there. I saw something on AI this week that just kind of, I was just browsing and I found this thing on AI, and I told Danny when I started listening to the guy talk, he was from Silicon Valley, And I'm not even going to tell you what he said or anything like that, but when I heard what he said, things started clicking, and then I heard another guy a day or two later mentioning something similar, and I'm like, okay, I picked up on that little tip. You find out different things by not staying in your bubble. A lot of people want to stay with their certain people that they watch and listen to, and they only believe them. If you go out there and listen to some of the people that you don't like, they tend to give you things that you pick up on.
Let's put it this way. Most of the knowledgeable people in Silicon Valley are not Americans. They're from India, Pakistan, and other countries in the world. Let's just use other countries.
Yeah.
And they don't like the United States. They never have liked the United States. They're here for a reason. And when that time comes, don't move it. So that's a little bit about that. And people are asking, well, what about metals? What about, silvers and golds and stuff like that? Well, I can tell you this. If I was going to invest in anything, it wouldn't be gold. It would be silver. Because if the world gets its way and everything solar, like they're wanting it to go, every solar panel has silver in it. The price of silver will go sky high because it will be in such a demand. So, I mean, that's just my take. I'm not going to say I'm a financial advisor on that. I have my reasons for doing what I do.
Was there something there you needed to answer?
Not now.
Okay, you got that?
Yeah, I got everything. But, yeah. But I'm going to tell you what I do. I'm telling you what Danny does, okay? Danny invests in tangible objects. I put my money into objects that I can lay my hands on and touch. I'm sorry.
He's sitting there.
I'm beating. It feels like I'm praying now, but I have to close my hands together. I've been so physical my whole life. You just have to understand my background.
When he's talking to people, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But when he gets near a desk, a table, or something that's in front of him, he can't help it. His hands go to him, and it messes with the camera.
It does. I'm sorry.
It
just has to do with my background. I'm sorry. Some things it's like muscle memory. You can't.
But we do tangible things. But people want to know why. They say, "Man, y'all must be rich. You're doing all this stuff." Well, when money comes in, we put it back into the property, into housing, into shops, into a tractor, equipment, jars, lids. If I need to buy up something like sugar, if I want 200 pounds of sugar in my house, then I buy up the sugar or rice or flour or whatever. We put it into tangible objects, and I guess that's what he's talking about, tangible.
Yeah, anything that you can put your hands on that you can use to barter with, because okay. I'm having to keep my hands closed here. This ain't funny. All right?
It is funny.
It's not funny.
I know all of them are laughing.
It is not funny. I cannot help it. I was trained a specific way to use my hands, and it's just part of who I am. So I'm keeping my hands locked down here. I would hold your hand, but you know what'll happen every time I hold your hand? I'll be grabbed her arm up and slung it down, or I'll be squeezing her hand so tight her eyeballs will pop out. But we do.
Making me cry.
We do focus on tangible objects because with the new system coming, I got to say this. With the new system coming, you ain't going to be able to buy and sell if you don't. I mean, they done told me this. You're not going to be able to buy and sell if you're not a part of it. If you don't buy into it, you're not buying and selling nothing. So if you don't plan on buying and selling anything, you better be ready to barter something, or I ain't going to use the word steal, but barter or have your own or make your own or something other, because I'm telling you,
laughing at you.
It's going to get bad. That's what I'm telling you. Our life will change because we're used to just going and buying what we want, And we're used to going to a friend. If a friend has something, we just say, hey, how much you want for that? And he goes, oh, give me $20. And you just rip out $20. That ain't going to happen. That's going to go out the window, you know? Because you know who wants his portion of it. So it's all going to have to be with a swipe of a card.
Yep.
And that's all going to lead to the, what would be, siete, you know, maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Just okay. We gone far enough into that one.
Yeah.
But I do like, somebody said, don't put your money on junk. People tend to go to the store, and I guess I would have been guilty, but I wasn't a shopper, but I would go to the store every week. But I know people that when they went every week, they had to buy something. They had to buy stuff and bring it home. And lots of times it just sat there, or they wore something one time, or they used something one time and they decided they didn't like it, and out it goes into a garage sale. You spend $20 on something, use it one time, and then out it goes. That is not the way to be beneficial, I guess. I don't know what word I'm looking for.
I said it wrong. Siete, 7. I'm sitting here thinking, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. It'd be 6. Siete, 7.
Yeah.
So it's not 7, 7,
I wondered
7.
when you said that.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here going.
It's 6. Because
I'm like, I didn't think you
you got
were
me
on the
laughing,
right.
and my mind was going off in another direction. So it's 6.
Yeah, I was thinking you went a little far.
I went a little
counting.
far with that one. So. Oh, Wendy called me out on it. Yeah, Siete, 7.
Yep,
okay, yeah,
she
okay.
did.
She caught that one.
I was thinking you went a little far, but I wasn't counting. I was like, okay.
Seis, yeah.
English, please.
Oh, English, please. I can't do English.
Hold your fingers up.
Okay.
Y'all, we got to go before we get in trouble.
We're having too much fun. Okay.
They tend to pull my monetization all
they
the
do.
time on these lives.
These
we
live
do these
streams,
lives for nothing. I'm going to just tell y'all.
The live streams are for free because they take our monetization away from us. Because
I don't know how many of them's been pulled in. I mean, not pulled. They're still up.
The video's up, but we don't get nothing
we get
for
nothing
it because
for sitting here.
Because I keep running my mouth.
Because he always says one little something.
I'll say one thing.
And they take my monetization. So lots of our videos now are for free.
Oh, yeah, a lot of it's for free.
We just do it.
I mean, and everybody goes, well, how come everybody else can say this kind of stuff and you don't say anything? You say something.
We don't know.
And I do know. It's because I don't take a phone and I don't reach up here like this and go, oh, guys, this is what's on the phone right here, and word for word, verbatim of the MSM. I don't do that. And the people behind the scenes know I know what I'm talking about because they know where the information's coming from, and they don't want it to be out there. So they demonetize me in hopes that I'll quit.
Mariah says the chat bot's already saying it's about the mark of the beast. Crazy.
Yeah.
Did you say something like that?
No, I did not.
It's because you showed your fingers.
AI is so smart that when I went like this,
they already know.
You know.
Okay, we got to go.
Yeah.
We already in trouble. We have no ads, and that's okay. We'll be fine.
Yeah, just buy the T-shirts. I mean, we don't get nothing for the T-shirts either, but help my daughter out. At least she'll be happy, you know.
That's her inheritance.
That's her inheritance from me because the big brother's going to take it all away from me anyway. So give her an inheritance. Buy the shirts. Buy these things.
She said it
right
also says you're discussing barter systems.
I am. I'm discussing how to get around the system that they have created already. So.
Yeah, AI's reading the comments. You're saying you're right.
Yeah.
And two, it gives people, if they're searching, they want to know what we're talking about. It does throw up key points.
Yeah, so it does.
It does help.
And if it does if it shows the video, it'll tell you 6 key points in this video, and it'll show 6 things around the bottom of it. 6, and if people goes like, well, www. Do you know what www even stands for?
You going on into more territory.
I mean, it's like that's what it stands for. So that ought to be an eye opener there.
Oh, We gotta go.
Okay.
You're gonna get us in trouble.
I know. I gotta quit, guys. We gotta do it. Igpe Atenley. I wonder if AI probably speaks Pig Latin too.
Oh,
okay.
Lord.
All right. Anyway, guys. What?
Let me think just a minute.
Oh Lord. Here we go. Okay.
What was it that was so funny that I told you had to tell Chris about? Was there something that we can tell? It was. I was laughing. I don't remember now what it was. I said you have to tell Chris.
I don't know.
What did we do this week? It might not be too good. I might not even say that.
I don't know.
I can't remember anyway.
Anyway, yeah, we're a barrel of monkeys here sometimes, and maybe I ain't supposed to say that. I don't know, but maybe it's mean to put monkeys in a barrel. I don't know.
And you can't talk about elephants in the room.
I can't talk about the white elephant in the room because that would be racist, wouldn't it?
Well, an elephant anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
We can't talk about that. And
okay.
The donkeys.
We can't go with the
we
donkeys.
We can't go
with the donkeys and the elephants because if we go with the donkeys and the elephants, AI will figure out that we're talking about the rhinos.
I can't remember what it was because I remember I was laughing so hard, and I know it would be a funny story because I know I was laughing, but I don't remember what we were doing and what it.
Guys, just because there are ads on here don't mean that we get any kind of monetization from it.
No, it doesn't mean any.
YouTube gives us nothing, but they still put the ads on our videos.
Yeah. They will do that on all channels.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a monetized channel, you haven't reached monetization yet, they can still put ads in there and they still make money. You don't until you reach their criteria. And they'll let our videos play, and they'll take our monetization away, but there'll still be ads lots of times.
Yeah, thank you, Lorraine.
Because I looked at one that they said they took the monetization away from, and there were still some ads in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, somebody's getting that money.
It says somebody said AI understands and speaks Spanish. Well, AI, you know what? Let's look at this. Este lado hacia arriba. You know? This side goes up. No, this side goes up on it.
I know, but I'm saying, yeah, now you're banging the glass. It's got rubber on the bottom. It does. I like that it's got the rubber.
That's where it won't slide.
Yeah, I like that because this is the first time I've had something that had rubber on it.
Linda Dykes, you would be correct. Okay.
The points from AI, I think, is under the video, maybe where the description is. It might be right under where the description is. It's somewhere in that general area. It'll show the points of the video. I can't remember. I see it on other videos all the time.
They said Jesse just put up a new video on a hurricane in Florida. I'll have to look at that. Catherine says, okay, everybody, let's just breathe. Let's take a moment and just... Blue Wolf says, Firewall, they can't take this. They're gonna get they'll get a portion of it, like 30%. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they do. They do what they want to do, and there's nothing much we can do about it. But we love you guys. We love y'all. Thank you for staying around. If you're not over at Pecan Grove, head over to Pecan Grove and make sure you join us over there. That's where all the fun's going to be happening from now on. We're going to stay on Deepsouth as far as a few things, and but the majority of things is over on Pecan Grove. And
we'll monkey around on Deepsouth, but we're not going to monkey around on Pecan Grove. Pecan Grove is a serious channel.
I thought Deepsouth was your serious channel.
I'll be like the puppets on there, like looking at you. Okay.
All right,
like
guys.
I'm AI controlled. That's like I told Chris, that chip they put in the back of my head back here so that I know everything is really starting to wear out fast. Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe most of what he says.
Let's see. Okay. All right. Are we ready now?
We gotta go.
This is like 30 minutes of being ready.
No,
Guys,
we'll sit here another hour or two.
I love y'all. Thank you for staying with us tonight. With good faith.
Porch Time's going to stay here on Deep South.
It will.
Because he can do Porch Time anywhere, and I've got to set him up a permanent Porch Time spot because he keeps going all over the place.
I am. I'm a nomad. I just wander around and do Porch Time.
Sometimes there's too much noise.
Maybe we should change it to the nomad instead of Porch Time.
People ain't gonna know to look for nomad.
A nomad's a wanderer, and that's what I've been doing on Porch Time. I just wander around till I find somewhere where it's quiet.
And it's hard to do.
It's hard to do.
There's either something. I mean, there's always something going on.
Yeah.
But I got to set him up a good place because.
Cul-de-sac said this is like a Midwest goodbye. Takes like 30 minutes to say goodbye. Okay,
that's
guys.
That's a Southern goodbye.
That's a Southern goodbye.
You stand at the car and talk for an hour or two.